Grand Theft Auto is a beloved series these days, which is a goddamn miracle when you revisit the first two games. With first entries like this, how is this series still around and so celebrated? I mean, the first two games weren't that great. Well, picture Grand Theft Auto 3. That explains it.
This here is the first truly great Grand Theft Auto. It had a ton of firsts for the series, it can be considered a revolution in game design, and it can still be a good amount of fun these days. With that being said, this is the first 3D entry in the series, and you can really tell. Grand Theft Auto 3 sucks. But who cares? This game is flawed beyond belief, but I still adore it, so let's go over the whole thing. And hold on. Before you come at me, let's take a look at the whole thing, alright? Let's hear everything that I have to say before you make yourself look like a fool. You're gonna make yourself look like a fool anyways? Alright, whatever.
GTA 3 has one of the most interesting development cycles to me. It's a tale of change, combination, and tragedy. It technically started as 2 games, with the team at DMA Design beginning development after GTA 2's release. Meanwhile, another team at DMA began developing another game separate from GTA 3. As a matter of fact, this was a Godzilla project. But in 1999, DMA was acquired by Take-Two Interactive, who then said, "Why are there 2 teams working on 2 different projects? Only focus on one project and make it GTA 3 because there needs to be a good GTA game." Hence, combination. The project began life on the Dreamcast, but when it was apparent that the console wasn't commercially viable, they jumped ship to the PlayStation 2, which, that was a good call, change. And from there, development progressed. I wouldn't say smoothly, because there are a lot of hardships with developing this guy, considering it was the first 3D entry in the series and was super ambitious.
But by 2001, the game was pretty much ready to release, with a planned release date of October 3rd, 2001. Wait a minute. That date, that's a little close to... Oh god.
September 11th, 2001. The terrorist organization Al-Qaeda launched a terrorist attack on the United States. With planes hijacked and crashed into important US buildings, including the Twin Towers in New York City, it was a horrific day to say the least. And in the middle of it all was Rockstar Games planning to release this game in a matter of weeks. Immediately following the attacks, the New York division of Rockstar Games, who were handling publishing of the game, couldn't even work on it due to their office being close to ground zero. And during that time, when they couldn't access their office, they were even debating if they wanted to actually release this game. I mean, this was a game all about committing crimes in a fictional take of New York City, releasing mere weeks after a tragedy on a scale America had never seen before. Ultimately though, they decided to still release the game, but they also made numerous changes to accommodate for the recent tragedy. The color schemes of police cars were changed to look less like actual NYPD cars, mentions of terrorists were removed from radio stations, and a mission that mentioned terrorists was also removed. Also, the flight paths of certain planes were changed so they wouldn't fly behind buildings, and the ability to blow up planes seen in this German trailer was removed. However, the change that easily impacted the series the most was the cover.
You see this? And 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 this? This design, this template, this iconic design template for these Grand Theft Auto games? This exists because of fucking 9/11.
They decided to change the cover after September 11th due to it being quote-unquote too raw. And I can't lie, this cover is too much. It's just so busy and loud and was replaced by this guy, which I'm also not a huge fan of, but it isn't bad for something that was whipped up in an evening. This was a rough go at this concept that of course evolved to something great as time went on, but it's still really damn cool seeing where and why this style became a thing. 3 weeks after its initial planned release date, Grand Theft Auto 3 finally released and, well, it was an instant hit, being critically acclaimed and revered as one of the all-time greats. Now, in terms of playing GTA 3, I have some options, but I'll be going with the Definitive Edition port.
Whoa. Let me explain, Jesus.
This is a flawed release, yes, but GTA 3 is already flawed, so who cares? The PS2 release? Hell no, it's so blurry and clunky, it is not fun to play. The PC release is fine, but I don't really want to play it at a desk. This is just the easiest way to play it comfortably in the modern day. With that being said, I will make sure my criticisms are of the original version, because keep in mind, I have played this before on PC. This isn't my first rodeo with this game. So let's make my second one more comfortable.
Also known as... Let me sit on the couch and hold a controller, please.
First off, this game's theme and opening cinematic wonderful. I don't know entirely how to describe it, but it just feels perfect for this game. It sounds like something you'd hear in a dull, dingy metropolis, which again makes it perfect. This game does have a more involved, enjoyable story, so I may as well recap it. Liberty City, 2001. Claude and his girlfriend Catalina are robbing a bank, but as they escape, Catalina betrays Claude and shoots him, leaving him to be arrested. Later, while on a prison transport, the Colombian cartel ambushes the escort to take someone, and in the chaos, Claude escapes along with 8-Ball. 8-Ball introduces Claude to Luigi. Not that one. Nope. There we go. Claude runs jobs for Luigi and gradually meets and runs jobs for other members of the Leone Mafia family. He works his way up and eventually runs jobs for Salvatore Leone himself. And as he works for them, he learns of Spank, a new addictive drug that's hit the streets, which is also being sold by Catalina, who he ultimately wants revenge against. After blowing up a freighter producing Spank, Claude is sent by Salvatore to dispose of a car, but on the way, he gets a page from Salvatore's wife, Maria. In an effort to make Salvatore jealous, Maria says she slept with Claude, so Salvatore now wants Claude dead.
God, Maria, what the fuck is wrong with you?
So Claude escapes to the other island with Maria, kills Salvatore, then starts working for Asuka and the Yakuza. Claude works for her brother Kenji, the corrupt cop Ray Machowski, and Donald Love, a recurring character in the series. Love causes a fair bit of chaos, having Claude kill Kenji while disguised as a cartel member in order to start a gang war to, get this, drive down real estate prices. As he runs more jobs for Love, he eventually comes across Catalina again, cornering her at the construction site. Catalina betrays her new partner Miguel and escapes, and Asuka shows up to torture Miguel since she thinks the cartel killed her brother. Claude runs a few more jobs for Asuka before discovering her and Miguel dead and Maria taken for ransom by Catalina.
Frankly, for all I care, she can keep Maria.
But for whatever reason, Claude pays the ransom and chases down Catalina to a dam, where he shoots on her helicopter, finally killing her and putting the cartel out of business. Following that, Claude and Maria walk off into the sunset, where
I broke a nail and my hair is ruined. I mean, can you believe it? This one cost me $50.
Oh, thank God.
the story of GTA 3 is, it's not bad, but it's not particularly strong either. I like how everything comes together. Everyone is going after Spank, and it turns out Catalina is in charge of that. You see the repercussions of your own actions when you kill Kenji and start the gang war. Hell, the guy the cartel kidnapped in the beginning was Donald Love's kung fu instructor. The best way to put it is that this plot is okay, but it really does feel like the plot of a video game. Also, Claude is a lame protagonist. This may be a hot take, but Claude is fucking dumb for one sole reason. He's mute. Don't get me wrong, a silent protagonist can be badass, but Claude isn't much of a character at all. He shows pretty much no motivation at all. He just goes with the flow. He's basically a yes man. Every mission starts with Claude beating the mission giver, and the mission giver says, here's the problem, here's what you need to do, go. This is how most GTA games are to an extent, yes, but the voice protagonists have personalities and defined motivations. They will say, no, I'm not doing that, or why is this necessary? Then that actually gives them character. Claude just does whatever he's told, and he swaps sides so easily. He runs jobs for Asuka and Kenji, and then kills Kenji for Donald Love to start a gang war. You can look deeper and say Claude did this because it does benefit him, and I get that to an extent, but it's still jarring to see nothing human about him. No internal conflict, no characteristics. He's a boring fucking character. He looks cool, the things he does are cool, but he's just not a free thinker and not much of a character at all. The supporting characters are, I like them more than Claude because they're actual characters, but none of them have a lot of characterization. Salvatore Leone is your stereotypical mafia boss. Tony Cipriani and Joey Leone are your average mafia associates. Tony is one of the more interesting characters in this game, but that's because he was the main character in the PSP prequel Liberty City stories. Also, Maria, fuck her. I can't stand her. The fact that Claude was in such good standing with the Mafia, but she just had to lie about sleeping with him in an attempt to make Salvatore jealous. Like, Claude could have been a made man. The Mafia was already going after Spank and Catalina. Hell, Claude's last job for them was blowing up the freighter producing Spank. And does Salvatore really believe that Claude would sleep with anyone? He barely shows any signs of being human. He seems like the kind of guy who would be flirted with and he just says and does nothing because he doesn't understand it at all. Hell, it happens at the beginning of the fucking game.
Don't get me wrong. Look at this guy. With his polygonal bod, he could fuck anyone he wants to. But knowing him as a character, he doesn't care at all.
The mission structure is pretty damn simple. Go to a character, they tell you what to do, go do that. And while none of the missions are very remarkable, none of them are really bad either. I remember Expresso to Go being a pain in the ass back then, and I don't know if it's because of the waypoint trail added in this version, but honestly, this mission wasn't bad. It consists of you taking down multiple coffee stands that are fronts to sell Spank, and you only have 8 minutes to destroy the 9 stands spread across the 3 different islands. But in practice, at least this time, it wasn't bad. Use a guide. All the missions are pretty damn short, at least compared to later GTA games. So many times I would just be hit with a sense of, that's it? I mean, hell, in total, it only took me like 8 hours to beat this game, which, I mean, is pretty standard, but I remember when I first played it, it took me a good while longer. With that being said, this can easily be chalked up to me just getting better at games. I was an entirely different person 6 years ago.
What the fuck am I doing here?
With that being said, when I failed a mission, that sucked. The Definitive Edition lets you restart from a checkpoint, but all it does is start you at the mission starting cutscene. That is better than the original release. When you'd fail a mission, you'd have to drive all the way back to the mission start, or if you died, head back there from the hospital. So it is a slight quality of life improvement, but regardless of the version you play, if you fail the mission, you have to do the whole thing over again, which is annoying. Because usually, it starts with a good minute or so of driving to where the actual mission takes place. And redoing this drive over and over again is irritating. And redoing the rest too, it's so damn annoying. And the poorly aged combat and driving don't help either. Driving, oh my gosh, I think this is because of the Definitive Edition, but the driving does feel better from what I remember. It controls much smoother and the driving feels good, but what hurts so much is, well, 2 things. First off, these cars are so damn fragile. If you hit like 5 other cars, it'll catch on fire and blow up. I get the car being damaged and working less as you hit more things, but it catching on fire is so annoying. Also, if your car gets shot like 3 times, it also catches on fire. Now this is very convenient for missions where you need to destroy enemy cars, but when you're trying to drive away from enemies and they shoot your car a few times, catching it on fire and forcing you to exit the car and be out in the open while trying to get another, it's annoying. Also, when your car flips over, it can't turn back over and it just catches on fire too. Oh my god, this is just so fucking frustrating. A really annoying relic from these old GTAs that just make them harder to revisit. Like, sure, it's realistic to not be able to flip over a flipped over car, but when has a flipped over car ever caught on fire?
Don't you just hate it when your car flips over and it catches on fire, so you have to get out and run away from it before it explodes, and then you have to go and find another car? Isn't that so annoying? It's like, time to find another car.
And second, the NPC AI that drives the other cars, it's also pretty damn bad. The cars just act like there's nobody there. They turn randomly without warning, they never stop, they just ram into you for no reason. It's just irritating because you're just trying to drive, but they just get right in your way. And these cars are like bumper cars at points. You slightly bump into them and they just fly all around. It's insane. There's a level of fun to how insane the physics can be, but at the same time, with how fragile these cars are, it really pisses me off how bouncy these cars are. And then the combat, oh boy. First off, firefights are just so terrible. There's a limited selection of weapons, just one of each kind, but that's not really an issue. What is an issue though is how aged the combat system feels. There's no smooth cover system. You can try and hide behind things, but the game isn't designed around that, so if you try to hide behind something in a firefight, chances are you're also not going to be able to shoot enemies too. Also, they can just be ruthless. I mean, if you don't have body armor, they can absolutely tear through your health in seconds. And even with body armor, they can still take you out easily if you're not careful. And it's annoying because every time you fail, you have to re-drive to the mission location, and this does give you a chance to stop by ammunition and get some armor and more ammo, but then it takes longer to get back to the mission. And if you die, you don't have that stuff when you restart. It's just annoying, like this mission where you have to protect this guy, Phil Collins, from some attackers, but oh my god, I died multiple times here regardless of having some of the best weapons. Also, some of these weapons like the M16 make you aim in first person, which is so damn clunky. A great enhancement in the Definitive Edition is auto aim, which does make it easier to shoot, but the M16 requires you to aim in first person, which is miserable. The combat here is just simply indicative of this being the first 3D GTA, so it's just aged poorly.
Which on one hand, you can't really fault them for. but I'm a whiner, so I'm gonna do so anyways.
Well, that's the major things, but there's still a few smaller things I want to talk about, such as paint sprays, or when you have a wanted level, you can come in here and you'll lose your wanted level and your car will be a new color. And speaking of wanted level, that's right, that's here too, and it's better than ever, aka it's better than the first two. As in here, it actually feels like the cops come after you. In GTA 1 and 2, I'd have a wanted level, but it didn't feel like it. No cops would come after me, but here, well, they sure as hell do. And it's fun to get a wanted level, especially with how chaotic they are. They're such shitty drivers that it's just entertaining to get in a chase with them. Like, they fucking ram their cars into yours in an attempt to stop you, and cars just fly all over. It is endlessly entertaining. It's far from perfect, but it's a huge step up from the first two games. There are also side missions for many occupations like taxi driver, paramedic, firefighter, and vigilante. I didn't do any of them, but there's still a great addition that adds more content and replay value. And there's also 100 hidden packages in case you need more to do. There is just so much to do here in this, I wouldn't say massive, but decently sized 3D sandbox of Liberty City. There's a great variety of locations, the smaller city and industrial area of Portland, the big city streets of Staten Island, and the more quaint neighborhoods and apartment complexes of Shoreside Vale. There's a decent amount of variety here and a ton of area to explore. Again, like many other things, it's not the strongest world, but for the first 3D GTA map, it is really damn good. So Grand Theft Auto 3, it sucks, but that isn't a bad thing. This is a flawed game that has very much aged poorly, but frankly, what else should I expect from this? And when you step back and look at this entire game, what they tried and most importantly, what they accomplished, I still heavily respect this game, and I think it's one of the most important games ever made. Because regardless of the frustrating driving mechanics, terrible combat, lame characters, and forgettable missions, at the end of the day, this showed that Rockstar had a clear vision of what they wanted Grand Theft Auto to become. They were incredibly ambitious, and while everything didn't work out to perfection, this was an incredibly stable foundation that the future games could and did grow upon. So you can critically tear this game apart, and it annoys me in so many ways, but I could never hate this game because it is a triumph. It changed open world sandbox games forever. The amount of games that were released after this that copied its formula goes to show that this game made an impact on more than just the Grand Theft Auto series. So while I think Grand Theft Auto 3 sucks, it's a case where the good outweighs the bad. I find it hard to get really upset at the flaws because what they did right, they really did right. And what they didn't, so what? Because they improved on it later.
Am I making sense? I don't care. I love this game even though I think it's flawed. Isn't it crazy that you can criticize something you love? No, you can't. If you criticize something, that means you hate it. That means it is the worst thing to ever exist. That means you think it caused 9/11. Well, no, it didn't. But 9/11 caused this. I just don't even know what to say. I guess the only thing I can think about saying is, thanks for watching, and good fucking Nicus.